Hello everyone, what's up and welcome back to another video. Today I will be discussing all the books that I read in May. But before we get started, please remember to like the video, subscribe and comment down below how was your May. And without any further ado, let's just jump right into the video. So for the month of May, I participated in Donna Everand Mom's book collection as well as from Manda, the Bibliophiles Read-a-thin Readathon. I think they do it quarterly or 4 times a year around there, where they set up a readathon where you read the books that are on your physical TBR in an attempt to thin out your physical books. They made a bingo card as well as like a reading tracker, which I will show you at the end of this video, because I feel it's going to make more sense than mentioning it in the beginning. The first book I read for the month of May is City of Darkness by Karina Hull, and this is the 3rd book in the series. It is about a girl who has received the news that her father has unfortunately passed away. Her father lives in Finland, so she travels all the way there, and when she gets there and goes to view his casket is empty. She's like very confused about this whole situation, so she asks one of the people who her father looked after, and he reveals to her that he is a magician and he is currently in the underworld trying to find magic or some sort with the god of death. And then we follow Hannah, who's our main character, which I forgot to mention, as she travels through the underworld and comes across various different things and comes across the god of death and how he kind of is intrigued with her. And the catch is he would let Hannah's father go if she marries him. So it's kind of like a Hades and Persephone meets Beauty and the Beast retelling. And this is the 3rd book. It is filled with more stakes, more things going wrong. So yeah, I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Well, I think 4.5 out of 5 stars. Can't remember, but it's around there. The 2nd book I read, which was also my favorite of the month, and I believe it's going to be my favorite of the year, is The Crimson Moth by Kristen Caceres. I remember Becca from Becca and the books mentioned her surname the other day and I completely spaced. So anyway, this is also the alternative cover, which I love way more than this one, but you know, some of us can't choose. I don't know why there's 2 different ones. It was explained before, I just can't remember why. Anyway, The Crimson Moth is about a witch and a witch hunter. They are basically enemies, so this is an enemies to lovers story. Obviously. Do you need more information than that? I don't think you do. Just go in blind into this book. This is such an exquisite book and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book is A Fallen Sword by Kevin Herning. If you have been with my channel for a while, you would know that I love Kevin Herning's writing, and this one was no different. This book follows a group of guilds. It is the Fox Guild as well as the Nellyman Guild. The Fox Guild is kind of like thieves, the Nellyman are the good guys. And they are paired together because something is going wrong in their world and they need to figure out together how to find a weapon so that they can save the world from destruction. The main character, who's from the Foxes, I believe her name is Mariereads, she has this thing with the Nellyman where she really despises them no matter what they do, because she feels like they have this complex of they can always be good. You know, she just doesn't like them because that's not how she is. She's a very difficult character to like. That is what I discovered. She's very different from what I'm used to reading. There are usually some female main characters where I'm like, yeah, I kind of dig what you are doing, but Mariereads is indifferent to everything except her guild. She despises everything, she hates everything, she hates everyone. So it was kind of hard to get into the book in the beginning. I don't think anyone wants to hear this, but around the 60% mark, I could not put this book down. It was so fast-paced, it was so intriguing, and I really would suggest picking up Kevin Herning's books because her books are always so high stakes, but yet so fun to read. And I gave this book 4.5 out of 5 stars, merely because of Mariereads and her attitude. I guess. I just couldn't gel with her. The next 2 books I read were part of a buddy read with my bestie, and we read the 3rd and the 4th book in the Vampire Academy series, and it is Shadow Kiss as well as Blood Promise by Rochelle Mead. Don't ask me why I have 2 different covers, it just is the way it is. So this follows Rose Hathaway. She is a Dampier. She is a mix between an elite vampire and I think it's a human. Not sure, can't remember the premise of it. She is tasked to protect an elite vampire called Lissa, and they have this unique bond between them that makes them inseparable. So there's a few things that happen in all of these books that just makes the bond a little bit annoying, but also very intriguing. This book is mainly about Rose trying to get over the fact that she can't be with the man that she loves, as well as trying to deal with the fact that there's complete darkness in her and it's not going away. And in this book, we follow Rose as she goes on her own self-righteous path towards Russia. Rose is basically on a vengeance path. I think for both of these books I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed the storytelling. The storytelling especially picked up in this book, and this was such a new setting that I enjoyed it so much. Rose met so many different people that I was just like, yeah, I can vibe with the storytelling. So the ending was also, I did expect it, so I wasn't going to say it was mind-blowing, but it was a very good part of the book. It was a very thick book. Then I read a graphic novel which I saw over on Becca and the Books. She mentioned this, I believe, just like a passerby, that she has been reading this, and it is Die Volume 1 Fantasy Heartbreaker, and this is about a group of kids who went into like a RPG simulator kind of thing, and they disappeared. A few years later they come back. I think 3 years later they come back with PTSD. One of them doesn't even have an arm anymore. It's gory, it is brutal, and then 20 years later they receive a gift that takes them back to this RPG game that they escaped from, and we just follow these characters as how they are trying to overthrow the master of this world. And it does end on a cliffhanger. It was very different from the things that it is very different from the things I'm used to reading. But if you have Kindle Unlimited and you tap into it's got a very immersive way of storytelling, so it was really cool to do that. But it was very interesting. I am looking forward to diving further into the series because I believe it gets very good, and I want to know what resulted in them coming back and why they went through, because part of the rules that were made up when they came back to the real world is they can't talk about what happened in that game, and I'm dying to know what happened. So yeah, 4 out of 5 stars because it was a new genre to me, new kind of medium actually for me. So yeah, I just tried to settle myself into this whole new setting. The next book is Romancing Mr. Bridgerton by Julia Quinn. I don't think I'm gonna say a lot about this book because it's basically Penelope and Colin falling in love, living their happily ever after. This book I gave 3.5 out of 5 stars. The only thing that I didn't like, well, there were a few things. The things I don't like about the book is very different to the show, and there was a lot of banter between them. I thought it was going to be a severe slow burn, but there was no slow burn. It was just basically them bantering, and then the scene from Bridgerton in the carriage was like the highlight of that whole book. The rest of it was drama about Lady Whistledown and Colin figuring out who Lady Whistledown is, and it was just, yeah, it was a lot of drama and I was bored most of the time. So I merely read it because I wanted to prepare myself for the series. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to watch the series. I'm not reading the books. The next book I read was an ARC that I received from Bookatour. This is Murder in Mayfair by Verity Bright. It is the Lady Eleanor Swift series. It is the 18th book in the series. I can't believe I'm still continuing with the series. I started reading the series at book 13, and by book 17 I thought they were going to end. No, they're still continuing. So, you know, whatever. If I can get a cozy murder mystery every 3 months, I'll be happy. But basically this follows Lady Eleanor Swift as she goes on a balloon ride and sees a murder happening. And when she gets there, there's no body, there's no indication that there was a scuffle between 2 people. And to top it all off, one of her acquaintances is asking her to investigate the disappearance of a pearl necklace and how these two surprisingly tie in together. It's very messy, but it's very fun. Lady Eleanor is usually accompanied by her butler and her English Bull Terrier, as well as a ginger cat, but they didn't take center stage in this book, which I kind of missed, but I did enjoy the cozy murder mystery kind of feel it gave. It was very different from the previous books that I read because this one didn't involve Eleanor going on a dangerous heist to find the killer. She was actually with people the whole time. So it was kind of a different twist, and I really enjoyed that, so I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. The second last book I read was Forbidden Falls by Robin Carr. How come I forgot her name? And this is the 8th book in the Virgin River series, and we follow a priest. No, I can't even remember what he is. I believe we follow a priest who has bought like an old church in Virgin River, trying to build it up, and then he hires the help of a single mom who is down out on her luck, and she just really needs this job to prove that she can look after her 2 children, and she's trying to stay away from her ex-husband who's very abusive. They were married for like 3.5 months, and then she called it quits, took her children away, and then he went to court and was like, oh, because she's an exotic dancer, she can't take care of her children, so they should be with me. He's very neglectful, so there's kind of trigger warnings for that as well towards the children. He doesn't treat them fairly. It's just this heartbreaking journey of this mother trying to get her children back to her, and this priest falling in love with her. Well, the two falling in love with each other. I don't think he's a priest, he's a pastor. I think pastor's more of a better explanation. They just fall in love with each other, and the journey of how he's trying to help her get back her children. I don't know, I just feel like I'm getting bored with the Virgin River series. I usually read them when I'm looking for a small town romance, and I'm just like, it's another love story, and maybe I should just start calling it quits. I don't know, go move on to other small town romances. Who knows? We'll see. And then the last book I read was Running Close to the Wind by Alexandra Rowland. This is about our main character called Avra. I'm not going to try and pronounce his surname because I don't even know. Anyway, he's a former field agent of one of the government's Ministry of Intelligence, and he accidentally steals an expensive secret, and the only place to flee is to the big open sea. This is where he comes across his old acquaintance and pirate, and he kind of banters with his life with this pirate because this pirate knows him so well. He tells him the secret thing that he stole, and now they're on this journey towards a pirate island where they will try and sell the secret to the highest bidder. Everyone believes about Avra is he's very good with luck. He always gets lucky no matter what. So yeah, it's a very messy book. Avra is supposedly a 35-year-old man. He doesn't act like that. If you start reading this book, he's very brash, he's very childlike, he's very horny most of the time, which is, it's funny until it gets annoying. You know that thing where it says too much of a good thing is not a good thing? This is what Avra is. His luck is hilarious though. And the other characters as well, the way they treat him, it's hilarious. I had so many highlights in this book, but the problem is I could not gel with the main character up until I would say part 3 of the book, and yeah, part 3 is like somewhere around the 70% mark. So then I kind of just started being like, you know what, it is who he is, it is how he is, I'm just going to accept it and I'm going to move on. And I know it's not supposed to be that way, but he was too childish for me. And I kept thinking he was like an 18, 19-year-old instead of a 35-year-old person. And then every time he mentions, I gave 25 years or 29 years of my life for the ministry, I'm like, you don't read that old, I'm just saying. So yeah, I kind of struggled to gel with him there. This book also threw me off a bit because it is described as a fantasy romance, and I thought it was going to be high fantasy. The description also gives high fantasy vibes, and it turns out to be a cozy fantasy where everything goes right. Everything is smooth sailing. It doesn't look like that in the beginning, but it's just smooth sailing all around. There's no high stakes. That is what I'm trying to say. Everything is just low stakes, cozy fantasy. Things go right no matter what. So yeah, I gave this book 3.75, rounded to a 4-star, because it was okay. It wasn't my favorite. So let's quickly look at the stats for Read-a-thin Readathon. So I'm first going to look at the wrap-up just to show you which books I put where. I think I did pretty good for this month. There were only 2 doubles, which is fine. This is how the wrap-up looks. I put Die into graphic novel, a format different than the one you own. I have the physical copy of Blood Promise, but I listened to it on audio. Heartless Hunter, I put in the found family trope because it does have a found family trope. Social media scroll, I put in Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, merely because I was on TikTok the other day and then someone put on a quote of Colin saying something to Penelope, and I was like, I need to read this book now. Forgotten Book, A Fallen Sword by Kevin Hunning. I was scrolling through Kindle and forgot I had that book, so I just picked it up and I was like, yeah, whatever, let's read this one. A book under 300 pages, Murder in Mayfair. I believe it's 284 pages. Borrow a book from your library. I chose Forbidden Falls because it doesn't have to include your library, a building. It can include Scribd or Audible or whatever. I got this on Scribd. Oh, I also forgot to mention I put Blood Promise in color in the title as well because you get blood red, so I'm assuming that counts. I don't know. And then Running Close to the Wind fell into flowers or nature on the cover, because if you look on the sides of the cover, it looks like flowers and peacocks, that kind of thing. And then it also fell under the LGBTQIA+ MC because the main character, I believe, is gay, the pirate is non-binary, and yeah. And finish a series, City of Darkness. Although I didn't completely finish the series, I finished up until where the author wrote the books, so it's finished. And then book off your physical TBR. For that I chose Shadow Kiss by Rochelle Mead. Now we're gonna look at the bingo card, and I told myself if I complete the bingos, for each bingo I will reward myself with a book, and I might have way more books than I bargained for, but anyway. So the first one is to read a graphic novel. Check, I did that. The other one is to get fresh air. I believe somewhere along the line I went outside, sat outside. Yeah, I did sit outside for a while and read. The other one is a format different from the one that you own. Already checked that off because that was Blood Promise. The next one is make a summer hopefuls list. It's winter now, so I didn't even make a list of anything. So I just crossed that out. The next one is the found family trope, which Heartless Hunter fell into. Already found family trope. The next one is be creative. I can't even remember what I did there. I don't know if this counts, but I have this colorscapes thing on my phone, and when I read Heartless Hunter, I colored that in. So I feel like that counts. I colored in, just digitally. The next one is the social media scroll. I checked that off. Then watch something. My husband and I always watch something every night, so that was a given for me. Forgotten Book, Kevin Herning's book. Attend 3 reading sprints. I only got 2 in. I got distracted and didn't join a third one, so unfortunately that's a no. Check for a book under 300 pages. Date night. My husband and I, you know, we usually spend a Friday and we get takeout and we talk and, you know, that kind of thing. So I count that as date night. The next one is a free space. The next one is try a new recipe. I did make like a chicken pasta thing the other day, all out of my head, but I made that and I enjoyed it. So I'm counting that as a new recipe. The next one is borrow a book from your library. Did that. Journal. I've tried. I don't like journaling, so that's a no from my side. Flowers or nature on the cover. Running Close to the Wind. The next one is declutter. I think it was in my June reset. It was still May, might I add, but it was in my June reset. Anyway, I fixed parts of this, so I count it as declutter. Finish a series. Did that. City of Darkness is complete. Set a goal and complete it. I didn't set any goals. I was like, you know what, yellow. We're going through the motions. Color in the title, from which I chose Blood Promise because blood red. I don't know why I'm explaining it again to you, but yeah. Self-care day. I think 2 weeks ago I went to get my nails done, so I count that as self-care. Next one is book of your physical TBR, and the next one is 30 minutes 30 minutes off of social media. I think the beginning of May when I read Heartless Hunter, I ignored social media flat for like 3 hours, so that's a win for me. And then the last bingo is LGBTQIA+ MC, or main character. Got that as well. So in total, I have 3 bingos. 1, 2, 3, yes. So I guess it's getting 3 new books. Me. But anyway, that is going to be it for this May wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you. I keep forgetting there's a box there. I'll see you guys in the video next week. Bye.